Ariana Lewis was new at Northwood High School. Her mother always told her to stay calm, stay quiet, and never use her training unless she had absolutely no choice. Ariana was soft-spoken, graceful, and carried a simple backpack with a homemade lunch and a few old books. She walked to school every morning, hoping each day would be better than the last. Most students at Northwood were from wealthy families. New shoes, expensive cars, designer bags, this was their normal. Among them was Madison Clark, the unofficial queen of the school. She was blonde, rich, feared, and used to getting her way. Ariana's quiet nature bothered her. Madison didn't understand why a new girl could remain so calm in a place ruled by her. On Ariana's very first day, Madison approached her with Emma, Luke, and Jason behind her like shadows. "Nice bag. Did you find it in a thrift store?" Madison smirked. The others laughed. Jason purposely bumped Ariana's shoulder as he passed. Ariana didn't respond. She simply lowered her eyes and kept walking. Her silence felt like an insult to Madison's pride. During lunch, Ariana sat alone in the cafeteria. She was quietly eating when Madison walked over, holding a smoothie. Without warning, she said, "Hey, new girl, catch." The smoothie splashed across Ariana's shirt, cold and sticky. Laughter burst across the cafeteria. Some students recorded the moment on their phones. Ariana took a deep breath, fighting the sting in her chest. She remembered her mother's words, "Never use your training unless you must." Ariana wiped her shirt without saying a word. Madison felt ignored, and nothing angered her more than being denied a reaction. So the bullying got worse. Emma poured water onto Ariana's books. Jason dumped trash inside her locker. Luke made cruel, racist remarks about her hair and skin. Ariana's eyes sometimes filled with tears, but she forced them away every time. One person noticed everything, Ethan Miller. He wasn't bold or popular, but he had a good heart. He felt guilty watching Ariana suffer, yet he didn't know how to step in. One afternoon, Ariana went to the gym after school. She thought no one was there. She stretched, tied her hair, and began practicing martial arts moves. Her movements were sharp, fast, and beautifully controlled. Ethan entered accidentally and froze when he saw her. "You're trained?" he asked, amazed. Ariana nodded. "My mom taught me everything." "Then why don't you stand up to them?" "Because people like Madison twist stories," Ariana said quietly. "If I fight back, they'll call me the problem." Ethan promised to keep her secret. But secrets have a way of revealing themselves when life pushes too far. Friday arrived. The cafeteria was packed. Madison had a plan for the day, a big one. She wanted to humiliate Ariana publicly and record everything. She strutted toward Ariana's table. Jason grabbed Ariana's backpack. Emma poured ketchup over her notebook. Luke kicked the back of her chair, making her nearly fall. Students gasped, phones raised. Then Madison lifted a huge tray of spaghetti, smiling wickedly. "Smile for the camera, new girl." She dumped the entire tray over Ariana's head. Red sauce dripped down her hair and hoodie. The whole cafeteria went silent. Someone whispered, "Record it. Record everything." Ariana slowly stood up. Her face was calm, too calm. Her hands tightened. Her breathing was steady. She lowered the empty tray onto the table. She said one word. "Enough." Jason rushed forward to push her again, but Ariana moved like lightning. She grabbed his wrist, twisted it gently but firmly, and flipped him over her shoulder. He hit the floor with a thud. Gasps erupted across the room. Luke lunged at her next. Ariana sidestepped smoothly, swept his legs, and he fell backward, nearly sliding under a table. Emma screamed and ran away. Only Madison remained. Her confidence drained instantly. She stumbled backward, tripping over a chair. Ariana didn't hit her. She didn't raise her hands. She simply stepped closer and looked her in the eye. "I didn't want this," Ariana said softly. "You pushed me to a point where silence was no longer safety." Teachers rushed in, trying to understand what happened. But the entire cafeteria had seen everything. Student videos spread online before the teachers had even separated. Madison's group. Parents stormed the school the next morning. Meetings were held. Statements were taken. Madison, Jason, Luke, and Emma were suspended for harassment, assault, and racist behavior. The school sent Ariana a written apology and introduced new rules to protect students from bullying. Ariana's mother visited the school and hugged her tightly. "You showed strength the right way," she whispered. At lunch the following week, Ethan walked over to Ariana's table. For the first time, she didn't sit alone. They shared a quiet smile, a new chapter beginning between them. Ariana looked out the cafeteria window and felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: peace. She whispered to herself, "I didn't want to fight. I just wanted respect." And sometimes standing up once is enough to change everything. This story teaches us that silence is not weakness, and strength is not always measured by how loudly we react. Ariana stayed quiet not because she was afraid, but because she understood that reacting in anger can sometimes make the situation worse. She chose patience even when it hurt, and that patience showed how strong her character truly was. Many people think that fighting back immediately proves courage, but real courage is knowing when to act and when to hold back. Ariana waited until the moment when silence stopped protecting her, and when she finally stood up for herself, she did it in a controlled, respectful, and disciplined way. This shows that true strength is calm, responsible, and principled. Another important lesson is about judgment. People often judge others based on looks, money, or status. Madison and her friends bullied Ariana because she seemed weak, quiet, and different. They assumed she had no power simply because she stayed humble. But humility never means helplessness. One of the greatest lessons here is never underestimate someone because of their appearance, background, or the way they choose to carry themselves. Every person carries a story, a talent, or a strength that isn't visible at first glance. The story also teaches us about the danger of group behavior. Madison wasn't strong because she was right. She was strong because she had followers. Emma, Jason, and Luke did wrong things only because they wanted to belong to her circle. Many young people fall into such traps, doing hurtful things not because they want to, but because they think it makes them accepted. This story reminds us that real friendship never requires cruelty. If a group forces you to hurt someone to fit in, then that group is not worth being part of. Following the crowd without thinking can turn an ordinary person into someone who harms others. Another deep lesson is about bystanders. The entire cafeteria watched Ariana being bullied. Some recorded videos, some laughed, some simply stayed silent. None of them stepped in. This is a painful truth in real life as, well, people often avoid helping because they fear becoming the next target. But silence from witnesses gives bullies more power. The story encourages us to be brave enough to speak up when we see injustice. Even a small voice can stop a big wrong. Ethan's role shows that kindness doesn't always require big actions. He didn't fight the bullies physically. He simply showed concern, listened, and respected Ariana's boundaries. Sometimes support is as simple as saying, "I see what's happening, and you don't deserve this." His quiet support meant a lot. We learn that one good person can change how someone feels about themselves. Compassion can be as powerful as courage. The story also teaches that justice takes time, but it comes. When Ariana defended herself, the truth came out because everyone witnessed it. The bullies couldn't twist the story. Their own behavior exposed them. It shows that honesty and patience eventually reveal who is right and who is wrong. People who hurt others are eventually held accountable. Another valuable lesson is that racism is not just physical harm, it's mocking someone's skin, hair, culture, or identity. Madison's group tried to break Ariana's confidence by attacking her identity. This part of the story reminds us that racism is still present in many subtle forms, and it hurts deeply. But it also shows that standing up for yourself with dignity can break the cycle. Finally, Ariana teaches us self-respect. She didn't want revenge. She didn't want to show off her skills. She simply wanted to be treated with dignity. At the end, she says she never wanted to fight. She only wanted respect. This is the message for every viewer. People don't need wealth, beauty, or popularity to deserve respect. Respect is a basic right everyone should receive and give. The way Ariana handled everything shows that even when life pushes you to your limits, you can protect your self-respect without losing your humanity. In the end, the story inspires us to be strong, fair, kind, and courageous. It teaches us to value others, stand up for ourselves, and never let hatred or fear define who we are.